What's going on, guys? Another week in the market completed, and as usual, it's time for us to break down the charts and get ready for the week to come. You ready? Let's get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start with gold, and let's start on the weekly time frame, and let's get an understanding of where we are in the overall picture and break things down to see what opportunities may lie for us. All right, on the weekly time frame here with gold, we can see that as of recent, we've been edging higher and higher towards this area of resistance over here. So if we draw this area of resistance, we could see we're right about there, and we are very, very close to that all-time high as well. That all-time high is around the 2070s area. Price came as far up as the 2040s area, and it has dropped back down. This week was a bearish week for gold. Okay, so we still need to watch for this. There's no definitive idea of where gold is going to hit next. So for example, yes, this resembles a ascending channel. And if you watch my video on reversal patterns, you would understand what an ascending channel is, but it is a reversal pattern. So when you see an ascending channel, you know a down move is on its way. Now, that being said, yes, a down move may be on its way, but price can still be trading within this channel, and it may take some time before price is actually ready to drop. And one of the things price may do, we may get to a point where we're trading in this channel and we still find a way to break this all-time high. We may keep trading in this channel and break the all-time high over here. If I get to this area over here, this is around 2096. We may even get to 2100 while it's still within an ascending channel, and then it decides to fall. So just because price is trading within some kind of reversal pattern and we are at an area of resistance doesn't mean it's going to drop immediately, especially being that this is mostly visible on the higher time frames, the weekly and the daily. So think about it. If every candlestick is 1 week, or if every candlestick is 1 day, then this channel may have quite a bit of time before it's fully complete and it's ready to actually execute as it customarily does so. So that being said, we can't put it out of the realm of possibility that we may still go over the high, just because, yeah, there's this area of resistance here, but this area of resistance is very large. There's hundreds of pips in this area of resistance. So that being said, we have to see on lower time frames where the opportunities lie, and then when we start to see strong impulsive moves and then a retest to that move, then we can execute on a long-term perspective on where we could expect price to go next. Okay, so that's for the daily. Let's go down to lower time frames. I'm going to remove this for a bit. I want us to go to lower time frames to see what's more applicable to the week to come and what opportunities we could find. Let's go down to the 4 hour. All right, so now I'm going to look for other areas of support and resistance, and I want to mark them off as I go. So this over here, this area was a area of previous resistance. Gonna mark that off. All right, let me extend that a little bit. Okay, all right, more areas of support and resistance. Okay, we have support over here. We have a slight area of resistance over here, very small area of resistance. We're gonna see if it becomes of any value when the week opens up. We have another area of support over here. Okay, right over here. Technically, there are smaller areas over here, but this is the one that matters because it made the most impact. There was a big movement to the upside once price got to this area. We got that big movement up, came back towards that area and got another big movement to the upside. Okay, so that's the area you want to look for. After that, in terms of support, we can consider this area as a potential area of support. And we'll leave it at that. We could say this was previous resistance and it can turn into support as well, but we'll leave it at that. All right, so that's what I'm seeing on the 4 hour in terms of support and resistance. Now let's look on the 1 hour. Let's look at where we're at right now. Okay, on the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, I'm just going to double check to see if there's any other areas that are significant. So from what I'm seeing, not really. So we're gonna leave it at that. Now I'm gonna hop between time frames a little bit because I want to make sure I understand what things are looking like from a higher time frame perspective all the way to a lower. So from a higher time frame perspective, we very much are still on this uptrend. This uptrend is still very much valid, okay? And the area I would want to look out for is if price gets to this area of support over here, okay? If price gets to this area of support, that's what I want to watch out for, because even though it's not necessarily on the daily, on the 4 hour, this particular area was a significant area because we could see price found support here and there was a big move to the upside. So it remains to be seen what price is going to do. Obviously, as you go down to lower time frames, we are bearish on the lower time frames. All right, you can see that you are bearish over here, but let's see if we could break through, especially if we break through this area of resistance over here and get back in this zone. Not only do we break the downtrend, but we create another opportunity to see this retest here and allow a movement to the upside. So let's see if that is a possibility as markets open up. Now, if markets open up and we break this low over here, then of course we want to wait for that retest and then we want to enter that sell to this area of support. Either move will pay out nicely, all right? Either move will pay out pretty nicely. Whether price broke through this area of resistance plus this trend line and then gave us a retest and we entered, this will definitely give us from one zone to the other over 100 pips and ultimately to the most recent high over 300 pips. So definitely worth it. If you're taking the sell side, if it breaks support and we take that sell opportunity, then we're looking at over 200 pips as well. So both can pay out. That one move could be a move for the week and you are done. So we want to watch out for that. Let's look to see what gold decides to do. And depending on what it does, we'll execute accordingly, okay? Now, let's go to US oil. All right, let's remove all of this and let's start from a high level time frame. So with oil on the weekly, we came to around this area of resistance over here and it looks like price is starting to become bearish. Okay, let's go down to a lower time frame to see things a bit more clearer. So on the daily time frame, although we did edge a little bit above this area of resistance, this is what some people will call a fake out, right? Because it doesn't really completely break through and go beyond, right? We have gone back down into this zone over here, and we also have covered this gap, this big gap. I was waiting to see when price was going to cover this gap over here. Usually price tends to cover a gap when it creates one, even if it's not immediately, even if it's not in the same week, at some point it usually will cover up that gap. Okay, so this is where we are right now with oil. As we go down to lower time frames, there are opportunities that we can spot. So this was an area of support right over here, all across. This was an area of support. And that being said, because it was an area of support, it's a potential area for a retest. So being that we broke this area of support over here, this is a potential for a retest over here. So we wait for that retest, and this could be our entry for the sell right over there. Okay, so we could take that sell if price does that, and if we take that sell from this area to cover up the gap, we're talking about over 300 pips. Definitely worth it. Great trade right there. Now, if it comes back into the zone, and it gives you some type of a retest into that zone as such, then you have a short opportunity from one zone to the other. But if it continues going upwards, you have an opportunity all the way to the most recent high as well, okay? And even though it's not as many pips, still a decent amount of pips for you to make a good amount of money. Over 100 pips from one zone to the other. To the very top, you're talking about over 300 pips, okay? Next, let's go to UJ. All right, guys, this is where we are with UJ on the weekly. We're still on this downtrend. You could see this was a big impulsive move to the downside. This was a retest, a continuation to the downside, but did not continue all the way down. So now what we're looking to see on a higher level time frame, being that this is the most recent high, is price going to edge closer towards this high and eventually break this high? And if it does, then we have a reversal and we have a bullish UJ. But let's look on lower time frames to see more significantly what's going on. Okay, so on the daily, I'm going to mark my areas of support and resistance as usual. So we have resistance over here. All right, we have support over here, and a little bit of resistance and support over here. We take a look at this area right over here. All right, so we see how that lines up. Let's go down to the 4 hour to see more data. Okay, let's go down to the 4 hour. All right, so from the 4-hour, and even on the daily, you can see that on the daily, we are on this downtrend over here. So again, this big impulsive move to the downside, this entire thing on a daily level time frame is a retest. This entire thing is a retest. And what we can do is we can use our Fibonacci tool, and we're going to go from swing high to swing low and see what level this retest is at. Lo and behold, this retest is at the 61.8, the golden ratio. And that being said, if we take a look at current price as well, it has already given us a sign that it may be headed towards the downside. This may be a golden opportunity to take a big sell on UJ from one zone to the other, and this may pay out very, very well. Even though we're on a higher level time frame, you find an entry, and if you're able to hold this trade, you're talking about close to 300 pips taking that trade. So that might be a big opportunity for the week. Now, if we go to lower time frames, let's see if market structure is consistent with what we're seeing on the higher level time frame. So looking at the 4-hour looks pretty good. Even the 1-hour again looks pretty good. We had a big move to the downside. Now we had that retest, and now we're going to see what price does. Now, it's not out of the realm of possibility, and let me just try to clean this up a bit. It's not out of the realm of possibility that price may, let's go back to the 1-hour. It's not out of the realm of possibility that price may come back to this area over here and get to this area of resistance. That's not out of the realm of possibility, and it does not invalidate the downtrend at all. You're still, even though this happens, this is multiple time frame analysis. We gotta understand, although this may happen, we may get to this high over here, we still are within this area of consolidation on a higher level time frame. Even if that were to happen, we are still in that area of consolidation, and the down move is still very much valid. So don't be surprised, even if it looks like the bias is leaning towards a sell, especially if we're talking about on a higher level time frames. Things may take a while before they play out, and it may actually give you a buy on a lower time frame, and you just have to be a little patient before that sell actually plays out, because it will play out if it's showing that on a higher time frame. But you got to be patient again to let the market play out. Then you get paid out. That's what it is. All right. So let's do one more, guys. Let's do an indice. Let's do NAS100. We haven't done NAS100 for some time. Let's do NAS. I'm gonna remove some of this stuff. And again, top-down analysis, starting from the weekly. Okay. So we are edging close to this area of resistance over here. We have an area of resistance right over here, and we're getting closer and closer towards this area. So wouldn't be surprised if we edge a little closer. But let's look at more data to be sure. Now, we are on this uptrend based on the daily. On the daily, clearly on this uptrend over here, and it looks like we are retesting at the moment, okay? So we had a retest from here to here already, and we have another retest that is in the works, somewhat a flat flag, but we may continue to get this retest to continue to do this before we get a breakout to the upside, okay, and get to this area of resistance over here. But let's see if there's more opportunities in the week, all right, that we can look for. All right, so I'm going to mark off areas of support and resistance, okay, as I see them. So from here all the way over here, we have both resistance and support, okay. I hope we see that. So over here was an area of resistance. Over here, area of resistance. Over here, area of resistance. Over here, support. Okay, previous resistance turned into support. And we have our areas of support down here and down here. All right, let's go down to lower time frames. All right, so being that on a higher time frame, we are bullish. I am looking for buy opportunities for when it comes to NAS. So I am looking to see, as price breaks this area of resistance over here, what opportunities I may have. Okay, so if price breaks that area of resistance, then I'm looking for potential opportunities to take my buy. And if I'm a scalper on lower time frames, I'm looking at multiple opportunities here. I'm looking to see when price breaks this area. I'm looking to see when price breaks this area. Looking to see when price breaks this area, and I'm looking to see when price breaks above. Okay, so there's multiple opportunities to scalp this through. If you go to a lower time frame, this is still plenty of money that can be made over here from one zone to another. So from this zone to this zone, we got over 200 pips. All right, from the next zone to the other, although a small zone, we still have about 100 pips, if not more. Okay, so plenty of room to make money, especially if you see prices starting to align itself towards that buy side. So it does look good for the buy, so I would look out for those opportunities. They could definitely serve you well, and you could definitely get paid out very well. Obviously, if you know how the indices play out, then you know they can pay very, very well if you capitalize on them, okay? So those are my outlooks for the week. These are the things you want to look out for. Be sure, again, as I usually remind you guys, to have a midweek markup because the market will move. Some of our analysis will be wrong. We'll have to redo things. We get new data, so we have to apply that new data, okay? But let's have another powerful week. Let's continue the momentum, guys, and let's continue to be profitable, all right? I hope you guys gain value in this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, Jordan the Maestro, peace.